In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. Tonight, the Cincinnati Bengals defeated the Baltimore Ravens 24-17 to advance to the next round of the AFC playoffs. Dave Lapham was on the call. Lap, my goodness, that was one that had your heart pumping.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, what it boiled down to was three things. Number one, Jesse Bates made a 14-point tackle. Jesse Bates hustled. Jesse Bates didn't give up on a play. He stayed after it and made the play at the 2-yard line, set up a goal line stand. Logan Wilson channeled his as he saw the quarterback was trying to channel his inner Trevor Lawrence. He said, "Nah, that's not going to work, Huntley." And once he extended that football, Logan Wilson knocked it out of there right to Sam Hubbard. And Sam Hubbard is now a living legend, an icon in the history of Cincinnati with a 98-yard fumble recovery touchdown, the longest in NFL history. There have been interception returns for longer than that, but never a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. So this football team never gives up on a play. You know, they've made red zone stops, goal line stops before, forcing fumbles. They just did it a couple of weeks ago, you know, to win a football game. Every playoff game that they won last year ended on a defensive takeaway on the last play of the game. I mean, the script just keeps getting added to, and it becomes more and more extraordinary. And possessions were few and far between in this football game. So when you not only take a possession away, but you minimize, they don't score a point from the 2-yard line. You take 7 away there, and you take, you know, at least 3. I mean, 3's a gimme. You're going to take that away, and then you score 7 on your own. It's just incredible. And now this football team has won 4 playoff games, and they're 4-1 in the last couple of seasons now. And every single win has had a defensive tone at the end of the victory, which is really extraordinary.
As we've talked about several times, hey, great offense is fun to watch, but defense wins the championships. This Bengals team now 9 consecutive wins as they go into Buffalo next Sunday at 3 o'clock. But no surprises here. Anytime the Bengals and Ravens get together, you know, as you say, put those big boy pads on, buckle up that double chin strap, because it's going to be a slobber knocker, and that was the case again tonight.
Yeah, it's never pretty. Like Zach was saying during the course of the week, AFC North football games, they always get moved up. I mean, they're never pretty. They're just so physical, and everybody knows each other's tendencies, and they try to take away the things they do best, make them play left-handed, you know, all those kind of things. And it's just who can make the quickest adjustments and the best adjustments and the adjustments to the adjustments. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. And this Baltimore Raven defense is legit. I mean, it is no joke. There's no question about that. And I thought Huntley played very well for the Baltimore Ravens. I thought he put forth a very, very admirable performance. 2 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 226 yards passing. He had more passing yards than Joe did. Joe went 23 for 32. Huntley went 17 for 29, so Joe is a little bit more accurate, but Joe threw for 209, Huntley threw for 226, and Joe had a touchdown, no interceptions. Huntley had 2 touchdowns and an interception. They both had quarterback ratings of over 90, Huntley at 92, Joe at 99.6. So, I mean, I thought that offensively, you know, they were pretty balanced. They threw it 29 times, ran it 35 for 155 yards, averaging over 4 yards a carry. In so doing, I'm telling you, Dobbins he's legit. That guy can play. Huntley had 54 yards on the quarterback run package, which I knew was going to be a big part of this football game because they didn't have one quarterback run last week in the last regular season game. No quarterback run package was shown whatsoever. So you knew that they were putting together misdirections and all that sort of thing for their quarterback run package tonight. And they unveiled some things that, you know, had the Bengals misdirection stuff was hurting them. They were flowing one way and Huntley was running the other a couple of times. So it was a typical AFC North battle that was determined by winning the turnover battle by 1. two turnovers to one, 2 takeaways to 1 takeaway, and one of those takeaways ended up being a 98-yard touchdown, and case closed right there. That was the deal maker and the deal breaker all at once.
Fans have got to be concerned. 3 consecutive games, the Bengals lose a third consecutive offensive lineman. First goes Collins, then Kappa, and now what's the status, if anything is known, on Jonah Williams?
I don't know what his status is, but I saw him leaving the locker room here just a little bit ago on crutches with a brace on his left knee. So, and I just yelled over to him. I said, everything good? And he just kind of said, nodded his head. Yeah, what are you going to say? But we don't know the status of the knee. I know that, earlier in the season, he did have that left kneecap sublux dislocate on him, and it didn't stay dislocated. It did work its way back into place, and there was very little collateral damage with soft tissue. And he ended up coming back into that football game. It was a road game. I'm trying to remember which game it was, but he had that injury, and it's the left knee. And in tonight's game, it was just he was in pass protection, and he planted with that left foot, and his knee gave out on him. So don't know the extent of it, and but yeah, 3 straight. They go 15 games, or in the 15th game, they lose their tackle Collins. In the 16th game, 14th game actually, because the 15th game didn't get played. That was a no contest. And then in the 16th game, they lose Kappa, who was there tonight. And I want to give him some plaudits, some kudos. This guy, he's had a high ankle sprain with a potential fracture, I guess. I mean, it's a significant injury that he's dealing with, and high ankle sprains can be very, very tough. He knows he wasn't going to play in this football game, obviously, but he was at every single practice with his teammates in the locker room. He was at the game tonight the entire time, helping with whatever he could in terms of almost like another coach, and encouraging his teammates. And he's all in. This dude is all into this football team. So I got nothing but love watching what Kappa is all about in that offensive line and how tight those guys are. But to lose a third one, man, it's unbelievable. 60% of the offensive line gone in weeks that you were able to play back-to-back full games. So the football gods were kind for a good length of time there. Every snap, all 5 guys played every snap together. Now it's musical chairs. And the benefit was, we talked about before, Cap is another one of his big strengths is helping with the communication, the ID recognition, communication of defenses and how to block them, the protections to check to and all that sort of thing. He's very helpful to Ted Karras in that regard. Now he's no longer there. So Ted, assumes a little bit different parts of the responsibility, and you can't expect somebody, with very little playing time to be able to pick up where Kappa was. And, so now you have 3 guys, that are going to be playing. It's almost like there's not a pairing in the offensive line where guys have played side by side for an extended period of time. Your left tackle's new, so he and your left guard haven't worked together. The only combination is left guard and center. That's the only combination that's worked together. Center right guard's different. Right guard right tackle's different. I mean, that's a major undertaking. Doing it at home is much more easy to recognize and communicate, and you can talk to each other and all that. On the road in Buffalo with Bill's Mafia, the noise they're going to be making, that's a much different dynamic. Your only advantage, the snap count is gone. So you can't get off the ball faster than the defensive lineman. You're looking at the ball just like the defensive line. When the ball moves, you move, just like they're going to be doing. So that is brutally tough. And it's going to be a horse of a different color dealing with that defensive football team that was second in the NFL in points allowed and second in the NFL in touchdown percentage in the red zone. They're a beast. And at home, they're even more of a beast. The Bengals were playing them on Monday Night Football in Cincinnati, but now with this playoff game, they're going to Buffalo.
Jackson Carman, Zach Taylor in his post-game press conference talked about the fact here's a guy, second year, is having to learn basically, as we've talked about all the time, offensive line, the more versatile you can be by playing multiple positions, the more valuable you are, having to take reps at multiple places. No, you haven't had a chance to see film or anything, but what was your impression of how he performed tonight?
I thought, just like you'd expect, he had good moments and he had struggle moments. He had the hold where his technique, let him down, and he had to the defensive lineman beat him inside, and he had to tackle him basically. And so he had a major penalty there on that drive. They picked up quite a few yards on a running play on first down, and it was nullified by the holding penalty. So now it's first and 19 or first and 20. I think they marked it from where they saw the infraction take place was a yard down the field or something like that. But at any rate, they were off schedule instead of ahead of schedule. So, that obviously is in a good moment, but he had pretty decent movements of getting guys locked up at the line of scrimmage and finishing them and moving some people, and his pass protection. He had good moments and he had difficult moments. I mean, it was up and down, and that's pretty much what you'd expect with his first extended action like that. Now, he played left tackle in college. That was his position in college, but it's probably the position he's played the least here in Cincinnati. I mean, they have him at guard, and he's played some right tackle. They know he can play left tackle, so it was a difficult dynamic, and I thought he stepped up and responded. There's no two ways about it. I thought he battled out there and tried to hold his own for sure.
You talked about the play that was made by Logan Wilson and Sam Hubbard, but Akeem Davis-Gaither, Jermaine Pratt, this linebacking core, they just know how to come up with plays.
They do. I think they're very well coached. Betcher is a hell of a linebacker coach, and that's the thing. I mean, I just think they play for each other. Nobody wants to let the other guy down. There's so many. I mean, that's all everybody talks about in the locker room. We just feel like somebody has to step up and make a play for their teammate. And I remember being on good teams with the Bengals, and I remember being in the huddle, and as a lineman, you're not going to be making a play as such, but I remember looking at guys in the huddle and thinking, gee, who's it going to be? Is it Danny Ross? Is it Isaac Cole? Who's going to make this big play that's going to, get something done for us here? Is it Pete Johnson running some people over? Who's going to do what? And, and then watch the defense on the sideline. Who's going to make the big interception here? Who's going to knock the ball out and force a fumble and then a recovery take place? But like you said, Logan Wilson, 10 tackles again tonight. He forced that fumble, which was huge. Jesse Bates had 8 unassisted tackles and 9 combined, and none bigger than the one at the 2-yard line like we talked about. Jermaine Pratt had 8 tackles. It's just, those two linebackers, that's as good a duo as you're going to find in the National Football League. Akeem Davis-Gaither had the big interception. I mean, that was just outstanding, the way he, read that route and broke on it. Just an outstanding effort when they were leveraging the tight end with a bracket scenario, and stepped up and made a big play and got up and returned it, but they felt like he was touched when he was down. So they brought it back, but he tried to flip the field position as well, which was a heads up play. So yeah, I think a lot of guys stepped up, a lot of guys made plays, a lot of guys were trying to not let their teammates down, didn't want to be the one that cost the football team the game. Wanted to be the one that didn't make a mistake, avoid the mistake, and make the play, make a big play that helps the football team win.
And you get to see some of the younger guys step, like a Cam Sample, come up with some big plays, along with the guys, the veterans, DJ Readers, BJ Hills. I mean, I know one of the young players, Dax Hill, he kind of struggled in some areas tonight.
Yeah, he had his moments, and he had his moments that weren't quite as good. He had a sequence on the punt team where he flinched. He had false started and cost him yardage, and then he ran out of bounds voluntarily to avoid being doubled as a gunner, and you can't do that. And he was flagged 5 yards for that. That was added on to the end of the punt return, and that was in the same sequence. I mean, that was back-to-back snaps on the punt team, so on the same punt basically. So yeah, guys are going to have their moments under the sun, and they're going to have moments where they're going to try to hide from the sun and get in the shade, get out of the glare. So it's just the evolution process of a young player, just learning on a snap by snap basis, basically. And he has to play multiple positions. Sometimes he's out there at corner, sometimes he's in there at nickel, sometimes he's in there at safety. He's playing special teams. They're asking a lot of this young man. I mean, not just physically but mentally. He has to be on top of a lot of different things, and he's doing a damn good job of that.
You're in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. If you're looking for a new career, be sure to visit firststarlogistics.com because they're looking to expand their brokerage department. Also looking for drivers and trucking agents across the country. All right, Dave, let's dig in just a little deeper here. I know you got a lot of homework to do coming up, but it's something you had done earlier in the season as the Bengals get ready to go to Buffalo and play the Bills, who had their own struggles today in beating Miami 34-31 in the playoff round. And this is going to be a game that, as you said before, got stopped with the situation that happened early in the game. A lot of fans have got to be excited to see two of the best young quarterbacks in the game go at it next weekend.
Yeah, two great quarterbacks, two great friends. It's going to be special to watch what's going on there. My hope is that the guys up front can perform well enough to give Joe Burrow a chance to show his skill sets, and that's going to be the big key. Allen did have some problems today. I mean, he had a couple of interceptions. I think he'd only had one interception in his playoff career going into today's football game, and he had multiple interceptions today. And Buffalo had turnover troubles. Miami ended up having them as well. And honestly, that is what it's all about in the playoffs in the National Football League. Last year when the Bengals made their playoff run, they had 9 takeaways in 4 football games, better than 2 a game. And they only gave up 2 in 4 football games. That's a half a turnover a game. That's why they won the games that they won and almost won the Super Bowl as well. So that's going to be the big key. It's all about the ball. It's all about taking care of the football. It's all about taking the football away. And, Allen and the Buffalo Bills are acutely aware of that as well. So it's going to be one of those situations where, you're going to have to – you can't let Allen just, possession after possession after possession just pressure the Bengals defense over and over and over again. You're going to have to break that rhythm, break that momentum, and then defensively you're going to have to step up and get some things done. But offensively, they're going to have to support it. One thing they're going to have to do, though, Dave, is figure out a way to run the football. I mean, in this football game, 18 carries for 51 yards, 2.8 per. Joe Burrow had a touchdown rushing on the quarterback sneak from the 1-yard line. That's the only score of the day for both teams, really. Like I said, the Baltimore Ravens ran the ball 35 times, 155 yards. They had a 35-yard rush by Huntley. Bengals' longest rush of the day was 11 yards, and I think it came in the very early stages for Joe Mixon. I know in the second quarter, Joe Mixon, the Bengals had 1 rush for 3 yards. I mean, you're going to have to do a little bit better than that. Now, I know a lot of their passing attack is short intermediate routes where it's kind of like an extension of the running game, but you're still exposing the quarterback to hits. You're allowing people to tee off in their pass rush, and if they can win quickly, they can still get a lick on Joe Burrow. So you got to be able to come off the football and inflict some punishment on a defensive line and give yourself a little bit of break from continually having to drop back and pass protect and be a human punching bag.
Dave, before we let you go, talk about the fact this team has won now back-to-back years winning a playoff game and how big that is as this team under Zach Taylor the last 2 seasons continue to grow and prosper.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. Last year, they set a record. No Bengal team had ever won a road playoff game. The 2 Super Bowl teams prior that won multiple playoff games, they were number 1 seed, so we're at home. We won 2 home games and went to the Super Bowl. This team had to do it the hard way, had to go on the road. They were at home 1 game and then had to go to the number 1 seed in Tennessee and win it and go from there. So that was a record. And then this year, they were like, okay, well, we won multiple playoff games last year. Let's go back to the playoffs again and win. First team to ever win a playoff game in consecutive seasons. Now, I think there's an asterisk on that because 1981-82, we went 12-4 and won playoff games. And then the following season, It was a 7-2 strike year. You know, there were some issues with regard to that one. But bottom line is, full seasons, playoff opportunities, back-to-back years. This is the first team that's ever won back-to-back playoff game opportunities. So kudos. I mean, they keep setting records. And, you know, the most important relationship in professional football is the head coach and the quarterback. And the relationship here with Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow is nothing short of extraordinary. So buckle up. It's going to happen, like Joe Burrow said, the window is as long as my career is, because he knows that something special is going on here in Cincinnati for sure.
You've been in the trenches with Dave Lapham. If you've not done so, please like all of our videos and also hit the subscribe button if you've not done so already. And if you hit the bell, you'll get notifications when we do special things like live streams or release new videos. Dave, any final thoughts before we let you go home after a long, busy day?
Yeah, I mean, I just marvel at the never say die, never give up on a play. Forget never give up on a game, never give up on a play. The attitude that this football team has is doggedly determined, and that's more than admirable. And it has taken them a long way, and it's the reason that it's going to continue to take them a long way, I think, for a long time to come. Their mindset, everything about them, the way they prepare, the way they execute on game day, their mindset when things aren't going perfectly smoothly, never vacillating from the ultimate objective, the ultimate goal. They're doing so many things right, and so many people are contributing to so many things going right. It's a sight to behold. It really is, from a football standpoint. Fun watching this group, and there is true appreciation. I mean, there's a love amongst each other on this football team. People say, that's corny, that's cornball. No, I'm telling you, it's a different kind of love, but it is a love. There's a total appreciation for what each other brings to the table and how hard they work to do it on a daily basis.
And like you said, Dave, we appreciate First Star Logistics as well for everything they do for us to bring you in the trenches with Dave Lapham. If you are looking for a new career, check out firststarlogistics.com. They have positions for brokerage agents, trucking agents, experienced drivers throughout the U.S., and also positions at the corporate office, which Dave and I get to visit on a weekly basis and always have a great time going in and getting a chance to talk to those who power up First Star Logistics. And Dave, we can't say enough about what they do for us.
Absolutely. I mean, what the Bengals have built down here at Paycor Stadium is an incredible work environment. What First Star Logistics has built at their location, and soon to be moving to a new location, is a powerful work environment as well. And, everything's about team. Everything's about team when you're talking about football. Everything's about team when you're talking about execution of the things to get done from a logistical standpoint with First Star Logistics. So, it's not, again, we've talked about before, it's not I, me, it's we, us. It's a lot of people making contributions to the cause. And when a team achieves a common goal, there's nothing better. It's as special as it gets. And that's what life's like at First Star Logistics as well.
Again, we appreciate everybody listening and watching at First Star Logistics, and also all of you who are out there on YouTube or across wherever you get your podcast, taking in the content that Dave gives up his time to provide. It's always great content. We had another great week, and we look forward to another big week of In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. Dave, again, appreciate the time as always. Look forward to seeing you this week.
All right, Dave. Look forward to catching up.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Brakes? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about. If you get the body right, then the mind's right.
Gotta get that body right. That's right. Yes, sir. Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.